Hello, welcome back to But I Kept Going podcast, where women come together to heal, grow, and thrive. How are y'all doing today? Today, we're going to talk about women, especially single moms, who silently carry rejection. God put this on my heart to talk about this today because a lot of us deal with it silently, but He's calling us in this season to break rejection. He's calling us in this season to renounce, denounce, reject, and rebuke the spirit of rejection. Because in spite of, God will still call you. God still chooses the rejected one. Jesus was rejected and God still chose him. So I need you to believe that you're still chosen too. I'm 33 and I feel like I have been rejected since the age of 9. But God taught me to give them grace because they didn't know either. So how can somebody teach you something that they don't know? So life had to teach me. Life had to teach me how to get knocked down in order for God to pick me back up. I talk a lot about rejection in my book as a child and a single mom, how I got knocked down by family. I got knocked down by friends. They would laugh when I would go through hardship. They would talk about me when my child's father walked out, just so many things. And I didn't realize I was carrying rejection so heavily and silently until God convicted me. One day I was in my closet, and this was just last year. And I was crying out to God because I was wondering, why in the world do I keep putting myself in this cycle? I'm the first person in my family to build a business, to have a podcast, to be an author, to do so many things. And I still felt like I was rejected. I still felt like I did not belong. I still felt like the things that I was doing, it did not matter because I carried those voices in my head for so long. I talk a lot about rejection in my very first published book, but I kept going. Faith, Purpose, and Healing for Single Moms, where I have been rejected since the age of 9. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit that. I thank God for the closed doors. I thank God for the people who rejected me because I always say it drew me back to God. It drew me closer to God. Um, I noticed that I was carrying it heavily when I started doing things outside of my comfort zone. When I stopped settling and I stopped belittling myself, I have been rejected by my own mama. She told me that I would never make it. She told me that I'm gonna be a failure. And then when I became a mom, it was the same year that she passed away. But before she passed away, instead of us celebrating the child coming, it was like hell because everybody rejected my child. My family rejected my child. My baby's father wanted me to get an abortion, but I said no, as I'm not gonna do this. When my mama passed away and I had my baby, I remember laying in the hospital bed and I made a vow to God. I said, God, I just want to change my life around. I just want to do a whole 360, God. I said, God, I am not who they say I am. I just want to do better in my life. And I talk about this all in the book, how I would go through the struggles of pushing outside of the comfort zone, pushing outside of the mindset, beliefs that I was believing for years since the age of 9, since the age of 9 of not being enough, enough, not having self worth, not doing enough. And so that's why I'm making this video today to encourage that single mom, to encourage that woman who is struggling with self worth, who is struggling with rejection right now. They rejected you, but God is still keeping you. In Isaiah 53:3, Jesus was rejected too, but God still chose him. So I want to tell you today, baby, you are chosen in spite of your rejection. You are chosen. I need you to do me a favor right now and declare these words over your life, baby. I need you to put it in the comments. I renounce, I denounce, I reject, and I rebuke the spirit of rejection. I am blessed by God. I'm so sorry for what happened to you. I'm so sorry that your own family rejected you. I'm so sorry that that man walked out on you. But let me tell you something. God is a healer. And if you just run to him, like I always say, if you just run to him and allow him to heal you, you will face that rejection a different way. You will thank God that he closed the door. to give you keys that no man can have, to give you keys that your family did not have, so that you and your baby can open up a new door and walk in that door boldly and beautifully. He had to teach me this too, y'all. I understand how bad rejection can affect your self worth and it can affect how you show up for yourself. You don't try because you think you're not worthy. And when you try something, you stop because you think you're not good enough for it. Or you think that no one cares because you face rejection for so long. But I'm calling you, baby, to break that cycle, to break that mindset, to overcome your unbelief. One way God helped me out of my rejection is when He started giving me visions of doing more and becoming more. And it tested me because I was put to the test to overcome my fears, to overcome the beliefs that I had about myself because of rejection due to the past. So many words that man spoke to me. God healed me through those words by showing me grace and favor, by showing me His favor, by showing me how to rewrite my story with Him. I hope I'm staying on topic, but back in 2021, God got my attention by allowing me to have a mental breakdown. Because during this period, I was an overachiever. I thought I had to prove myself to a lot of people. I worked at this job for 7 years. This was the first job that I ever had where I was on welfare, and then God promoted me to be permanent, and I worked permanently for 6 years. But during those 6 years, He also taught me a lot about me. I was people pleasing a lot. I was trying to be a perfectionist a lot. I was settling a lot. And He allowed that breakdown to happen to me in order for me to have a breakthrough. I'll never forget, I was riding with my friend in the car because my friend was taking me to Greater Memorial in Atlanta. And I heard God clearly speak, baby, you got to give them grace and give them space. Because where I'm trying to take you, them words can't go with you. Where I'm trying to take you, they can't go with you. So let me refine you. Let me position you to where I want to be. Some of y'all don't realize rejection is a part of repositioning. God will allow that rejection to happen so that He can show you what He has for you, so that He can show you how He feels about you. I used to allow rejection to impact me so heavily to the point where I felt like I wasn't worthy. But God had to allow that to happen to me to redirect me to His path. Where I thought I didn't fit in, God was placing me as a stand in and a standout. This person is different. She set out to be different. I call her to be different. So that's why they rejecting you, baby. You wondering why you don't fit in. You wondering why people left you. People walked out on you when you had a child. He made you different. He made you whole. They'll see that. You'll see that. But you got to allow for Him to refine you, to restore you. Put this in your notes somewhere so that the next time you feel rejected, you remind yourself, I'm being rejected because God is redirecting me to a greater purpose. I'm telling y'all, I was so mad at the job that I had, my mental breakdown, right? I worked there for 6 years, wanting to get another position, wanted to get a higher position. I was undervalued and I was told that I was underqualified. When I was working 5 to 6 counties answering two phones at the same time, I know I was overqualified for the job. But that was okay because had that rejection not happened, I wouldn't be sitting my beautiful face right here on the camera with you. Build a community for women like me who may be going through a lot of stuff, who may be dealing with healing, who haven't even started their healing journey, to let you know that, baby, you're not alone. You have community out here, and God chooses the overlooked. Allow God to use you as a stand in and a stand out. Allow that rejection to hurt you so much that you run to God so that He can deepen your prayer life, so that He can increase you in all areas. Because I'm telling you, baby, He will blow your mind. You think you isolated for a reason. You're isolated because He wants to elevate you in life. He wants to do a new thing. So allow that rejection to be used as fuel to your fire to grow with God and become who He created you to be. Listen, Hagar was overlooked. They rejected Hagar. But you know what God did? God came back and He rescued her and her son. And He even told her that He'll make her son a great nation. Let God refine you, baby. Let God heal you. Let God guide you. Let God restore you in this season. God will push you to your purpose by using rejection. God will allow you to open up a business. He will allow you to learn and apply new things. I'm reading Proverbs again for the third time in a row because Proverbs is a book full of wisdom. Allow God to give you a lot of wisdom in this season, baby. Don't just hold on to the wisdom, but apply it every day to life. Apply it in your prayer life. Apply it through your journey of being a mama, being a single mama, whoever you are and whatever you're doing. Do it for good and not for bad. You don't have to play get back with those people that rejected you. You don't have to put on a show like, yeah, look at me, look at me. They see the glory already in you when God hasn't even started refining you yet. So allow that rejection to be a blessing to you. Here are 3 ways to heal and reframe rejection. The first one is pray and journal. Okay, get you a journal. I always say that because you got to come back and you got to look at this testimony and you got to tell somebody else because your testimony is not just for you. I need you to be vulnerable with God. Last year, when I was in that closet and I had this one-on-one conversation with God with why me, why them, I stayed in that closet for a long time, crying out to God, God, why? I'm trying to build this business. I'm trying to do what you're calling me to do. I'm trying to write this book. But God, I don't feel qualified. I don't feel qualified. And I remember it like it was yesterday. God said, I'm sorry that that happened to you, but it needed to happen to you in order for you to run back to me, in order for you to see me the way I see you, in order for me to teach you all the ways of who I created you to be, what I created you to do, how I created you to feel about yourself. Be as vulnerable as you can be, baby. It is okay. One thing I love about God and I've learned about God, God will strengthen us in our weakness. Wherever you feel weak, God will strengthen it. God will renew you to rejoice in your weakness and He will build you up. Rejection is also a part of character building. It teaches you faith, it teaches you drive, it teaches you resilience to learn and believe that no matter what, you still gonna win. God is with you even when they're gone. And baby, set some boundaries. Listen, those people who cannot speak to you in a way that God speaks to you, you got to give them grace and give them space. Yes, I'm coming close to the camera because I want you to understand me. Those people that don't speak life into you, cut them off. All those people that worried me, and I feel so much better. I'm happy. Peace. Again, clear. Because I let them go. I let them go. I gave them grace and I gave them space. I forgave them. I forgave myself. I asked God to forgive me because I'm not perfect either. But the rejection was a blessing because I learned how to set boundaries. I learned how to say no without feeling guilty. I learned how to speak up for myself and my child because she won't follow mama's footsteps. I learned how to affirm the identity of who I am, who God created me to be, the type of woman, the type of mama that God created me to be. I use that rejection as a thank you, but that's not me. I stopped letting it trigger me. That's how you feel about me? Okay. I bet you won't see me no more because I'm going to quietly detach. I love you, but I'm going to love you from over here because I believe what my God says about me. Oh, also, I forgot to tell you this. You've allowed rejection to hurt you so much to the point where you've isolated yourself. Listen, there's a difference between God's isolation and your isolation. You'll know the difference. When God is isolating you, He wants to heal you. He wants you to grow. He wants you to become. When you're isolating yourself, you're hiding yourself. A lot of y'all are in between it. A lot of y'all are hiding, but God has you in hiding. And a lot of y'all are hiding due to that rejection, due to the fear of rejection. Get out of that. Now, if God is calling you into isolation, like I said, that is fine. Let Him refine you until He says, okay, you got to come out. But if you're hiding because you have fear of being rejected, something that I had to learn, my best friend taught me this. Everybody is not out to hurt you. There are people in this world who want to see you do good. You just have to find your village. You just have to find your community. You're going to have to go through a lot of trial and error to find that community. And that is okay. But you won't be rejected everywhere you go. So stop hiding. Stop having that fear that nobody wants to deal with you, that you're too much. I told somebody this a couple months ago. If people say you're doing too much, they ain't doing enough. Get you a mentor, get you a therapist to help you with your mindset. I made a Discord for single moms and women who are on a healing journey and they want community. You're more than welcome to join the community. You can click the link down below and it's free. Let God create a new thing in you. Let God increase you in all areas of life. Every day, God is still working on me. And I thank Him for what He's doing because, again, had I not been rejected, I would have never known who the real me is. I thank God for still choosing me in spite of rejection. And I want you to believe that too. You can put it in the comments, you can write it down somewhere. If you've been rejected, know that you are still chosen by God. And again, before I close this video, pray this over your life. I renounce, I denounce, I reject, and I rebuke the spirit of rejection. And I thank God for still choosing me. I pray y'all enjoyed this episode. Listen, if you want to work one-on-one with me, I am taking coaching calls right now. DM me Transform on Instagram and let's work one-on-one together. You could join my Discord. I have a book, but I kept going, Faith, Purpose, and Healing, where I talk all about my rejection and how I overcame rejection and so much more. And again, this book is not just for single moms. This book is for anyone who is looking for healing, who is searching to be closer to God again. It is possible. I'm just a walking testimony. Again, I pray this episode bless you. Share this with someone who needs encouragement today. Like, share, and comment. And honey, as I always say, it will get better, but you got to keep going. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.